Hi, everybody. I am Bart Robley, and I am here with two of my greatest drum teacher friends on the face of the planet, Rick Stojak and Chip
Yeah,
Ritter. Hey, guys.
Hi,
Chip.
how you doing?
Hey,
Rick,
everybody.
Rick, you look like you're going to perform surgery. You down there in San Diego in your
I
drum studio?
I am, man. I'm doing my part. I want COVID gone so we can get back to gigging.
Yes. COVID is COVID's going to have to come get you. You're not going to get
Yeah.
That's
it, right?
that's right. I want this to go away, so I'm gonna do my part. All the scientists say, all the medical people, all my nurse students say, wear your damn mask.
Wear the
Let's get
mask.
rid of freaking COVID, everybody. Wear your mask.
I don't know
It's
where my
gonna
mask is. My mask is in my glove box in my car right now. I don't usually wear it at home, but I'm with you, man. Wear the mask.
Right,
I'm at my
man.
studio. There's no one in here, so I'm just wearing it to make a point right now. But when my students come in, I've got a lot of social distancing in here, and I'll wear the mask, and I
I'm
wear my
Chip
Aquarian
Ritter.
shield.
I'm Chip Ritter, and I approve this message.
There it is, and I have the Aquarian shield.
You have an
The
Aquarian
Aquarian
head.
shield.
Look at that.
That's
Somebody
awesome.
call Chris Brady.
There it is. Thanks,
Chris will
Brady.
love that. Chris will
Yep.
love that. Everybody at
I wear
Aquarian
that
will love it.
mask and this. My students have to wear a mask. It's got to be over their nose. They start sliding off the nose. I'm like, we can't do it. And
You got
I'm
to
like, the
stop drumming
doors-
right now.
That's right. The door's over there. The nose is part of it. And then, so about half my people are doing in-person lessons and the other half are online right now.
You know what you
So-
ought to do is over there by your floor, Tom, you ought to get one of those super soakers and fill it with hand sanitizer. Every time a student messes up, you squirt them with it, you know?
Hey, what about like hand sanitizer drumsticks? They're
Hey, you know what?
disinfected right out
Before
of the
COVID,
plastic.
this is a good
Yeah.
thing for drum teachers. Before COVID, we all have those drum students that come in and like, oh, I forgot my book, I forgot my sticks. So you always got extra sticks laying around. I got them everywhere, and I had two specific pairs of sticks for students, a smaller pair like 7A, and then a pair of 5As. And after a student would use them, I'd wipe them down with hand sanitizer just because of trying to be sanitary. I've done that for years. So, because nobody wants to get the flu or a cold or
Oh
something.
man, my fiance is a nurse, dude. She's had me have hand sanitizer in my car for the last 5 years.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good.
Drum students are little walking petri dishes. So today's
The
topic.
outlook.
What's that?
The outlook.
The outlook. The outlook.
Yeah, Rick's got a good outlook on this COVID thing. If we follow the rules, then he's calling a good outlook.
Hey, you know what? I've known Rick
Yes.
for a while, and that guy has a good outlook on everything. Rick is like this little positive energy ball. Everywhere he goes, he's poof, and blows up. I thought my saxophone player, Carl Sanger, was positive energy.
Thanks.
He is, but man, you would give him a run for his money, man. You
Man,
guys are-
thank you so much. I feel you guys are the same way. And tell you what, man, playing drums, that'll make you feel good every day.
It will.
Nothing so much like giving a lesson and seeing a person say, man, that was the best part of my week. I'm all energized. I feel better.
I love that
Gosh,
too.
We're so lucky to be able to teach and play drums. So
So
what's our topic? I know this all is fitting in.
It all is fitting, and we're just kind of yakking right now. So the topic today, because Jeremy's not here, let's address that. Jeremy's not here today. He said that him and his wife were going on a little trip, and he goes, "Hey, there's no Wi-Fi where we're going, so I can't do this." And then he puts a picture on Facebook of him and his wife out by this beautiful lake, and there's bears and fish. And I'm like, "Yeah, no kidding. There's no Wi-Fi out there, dude." So yeah, Jeremy's not here today. So we're shooting from the hip 100% because all the topics that we've talked about over the months that we want to get to in the den, we thought, you know what, Jeremy has a lot of say in those, and so he's not here today. So what we're going to talk about today is music industry outlook. Right now, the music industry in the last, since the invention of, since the internet, has completely changed. And as Rick will tell you, as hopefully all of us tell you, you can look at things really positive or really negative. And there's a lot of times where you look at it and you're like, it's completely changed for the negative, but you got to kind of adapt and overcome. And I think if we've learned anything from COVID, we have definitely learned to adapt and overcome. And I think with the internet coming in and the music industry completely changing, with record companies and record sales and how people get their music nowadays. Music has completely changed. The business has completely changed, but you adapt and you overcome. So that's kind of what the topic is today. So Rick, I'm going to toss it over to you. I'm going to give you the hot potato to start with. What do you think about the music industry as a whole right now, and what is it that you do to try to kind of get your stuff out there, whether it be lessons or gigs or a record that you're recording or a band you're working with? What's your outlook on it? Let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of an optimist, as you guys said, and I feel like after there's tragedy and hard times, there's always kind of a renewal of life. Just after a forest burns down, then we get new growth. And one thing about COVID is everybody's in it together. No one's excluded on this entire planet. That's never happened before. Right. And I just feel that once we come through it, there's going to be a creative renaissance. I've been saying this to my wife for a while. I think that people are they need a release. We're hearing so much how people miss gigs. And miss live shows, and I just think that people are at home. A lot of people are practicing right now like crazy. They've never had so much time to practice, and they're figuring out their technology. And it's almost like it's an anointed thing that the technology is here for us to take the next step in humanity to apply all of the technology that we have. Think about
Rick's
it.
going all Steve Jobs on us. Go, Rick.
Oh yeah.
Predict it, man. Predict it.
Yeah. So we're back to square one. Is how it's going to be. It's like a new level playing field. Like how are we going to there's going to be new music, and it's going to be really creative, and it's going to be like blues. You can't have blues if you didn't have some hardship, right? So I'm excited. I'm actually excited about the music that's going to come out ahead of this. And so what I'm doing, well, I'm just really grateful that I teach drums, and so there's been a lot of people who've been really wanting to focus on getting their chops together during COVID. So it's been really, really good for me. I've been more focused in that area anyway. I'm not missing, I was so busy with teaching, I really wasn't doing as many gigs. So that's the main thing. And then getting technology together, man, like this, what we're doing right now.
Right.
And then I'm doing a lot of writing. I'm working on my third book of the How to Build a Drum Groove series. So I'm trying to be really, really productive with the downtime. And mostly I'm just trying to learn right now and take all the time. There's so many great podcasts out there. I'm a big fan of Drummers Resource podcast and Daniel Glass and Nick Ruffini over there. So I listen to those podcasts a lot of times and just try to keep optimistic and sharp. And man, we're going to be like a well-oiled machine once we get out of this. And so I'm excited about it. So that's my take.
What about your take on this? Because and I get it. You're totally focusing on COVID and getting on the other side of that. And
yeah,
I'll throw this out to you though, like because you touched on some stuff with teaching and writing books, right? And the technology. What about like let's put COVID aside for a second and let's talk about like in the last 20, 30 years, right? With the advent of the internet and the music business as a whole, right? The music business as a whole has changed. There's not really, unless you're a country artist out of Nashville, there's still record labels and there's still people recording albums and putting albums out. But the music industry as a whole has changed. How do you feel about that, Rick? How do you feel about, and Chip as well, how do you feel about the music industry changing to where there isn't, there's not the record deals anymore. There's not the big, the big tour. I mean, especially this year, yeah, with COVID, but there's not as many big albums. There's not as big, huge, gigantic stadium tours as there used to be. Well, how do you feel the music business is there? Recording, stuff like that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I there's a creative aspect to the fact that we don't have to answer to record labels anymore, and that we can stream.
And you go through that with your publishing as well, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, with of course we're not getting the big record sales out there and all, but live concerts are still really a big thing, and even more than ever before pre-COVID. There were more live shows happening and bigger audiences. So and then with the advent of all the technology, it gives you that obvious chance to expose your music. Where before, I mean, my 80s band, we were just in this little town, and the people came to see our band were our friends,
Right.
It was, an audience that big. And now, gosh, the audience is unlimited. And so the record labels, I don't think, from what I know, have as much power. So therefore we're not stuck with, well, this is the era of the sound. Like, it's the 90s hair metal where every band had to sound like that. And that's what the record labels fueled and pumped and pushed. So every band had to sound that way. Well, now you can sound like the way you want, and you can be really, really creative. So I just really encourage students and drummers to let that creativity out. And there is a market, there's a niche for all of it. So that's one of the beautiful advantages of this era. But man, no doubt there's not the big record contracts where we're getting rich, but we've got to be realistic about the financial potential being a musician. Don't do it if you're here to become a millionaire. That's for
right
sure.
Right.
Now,
Chip, what about you? I want to hear your input on both those things.
I don't know if I have a really good answer or enough experience in life to really talk about this subject, but I do have an opinion. I've got some experience with the trade side of the music industry. And, I was just looking online, and there's a website called musicbiz.org that has an article right now that says the live music industry will be worth $31 billion worldwide by 2022. It's a big explosion that they're predicting as far as the prices and ticket sales. Ticket sales are going to make up $24 billion of the total within the next 4 years. CNBC talks about Goldman Sachs they said that live music would be severely impacted by COVID. And yes, it's dropped by 75% in revenue. But over the long term, all the analysts at the bank are expecting a stronger rebound. And they're estimating online streaming market could grow to capture 1.2 billion users by 2030. So there's a lot of people in the world that are predicting, like what Rick was saying, a positive renaissance, so to speak, in music and the music industry in general. Now, does that mean everybody that I know is going to have a gig again? I don't know, but I like to think that there's, I have ultimate hope and faith in humanity in live drumming. This is another topic, right, with drum machines and production, but I just believe in music itself. You know what I mean? I think that life without music would be a mistake. And you can't bet against the music industry. It's going to rise up and rebound faster and stronger. And I think the outlook looks great.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, whether they're record labels or not, the animal is changing. Whether those labels are there or as powerful or, facilitated. I've got a couple students. I've got a student named Matthew Weiniger that just got signed to Pavement Records that has a bunch of real big metal bands on their label, on their roster. And they've got a great deal. And this is during COVID, right? Like,
awesome.
They signed a legit recording contract with this label. It's called Pavement Records. So I don't know. I'm thinking there's some
That's
good
cool.
stuff going on out there, man. And
Yeah.
really good, I have a positive outlook about it. I think the outlook for the music industry has never been brighter to those that can see the big picture. You
Right.
know, you're not playing down at the club. Locally, on the grassroots level, we've been devastated. I can't tell you how many of my friends are just still out of work.
Yeah.
They're just out of work and struggling to pay their bills and just really in a bad place. One of the longest running live music venues, Chicago Bar in Tucson, had to shut down and got closed. And so we lost like a national treasure over here in Arizona as far as live music venues. But there are businesses out there that are competing and staying alive and doing everything they can to stay open, and things are opening up. They do have a positive outlook about this in spite of this COVID situation. I can see a renaissance too. So I'm gonna join the Rick Stojak team over there and say, let's go for the renaissance.
Hurrah! I love it.
Hey,
I love
we
it.
need T-shirts that say Team Stojak. You know.
Team Stojak. I was especially impressed with how we've been, Rick Stojak, we've been anointed with this technology. We've been blessed and we've been called to a renaissance. So let's all get together and teach and play. More drum teachers, more drum students equals more sticks in more hands equals more music and a better future for everybody. I'm Chip Ritter and I approve this message.
Oh,
man, I want to,
Chip.
you know
That's
what?
beautiful.
I just feel like I got out of church, man.
That
That was awesome. I so wish I knew how to
Chip.
play Four Sticks by Zeppelin right now. I would do that. You know how to play it? Do you know how to play it?
It's in 5.
No, but dude, I've got some gigs that are coming around. We're playing Wednesday at the Gaslight Music the Oro Valley Gaslight Music Hall, and they're having an outdoor concert, which is a gigantic stage with the Jumbotron, and everybody's driving up in their cars and socially distancing, and they're filling the parking lots.
Cool.
You know, I mean, people are coming out when they can. And I think they're going to come out as soon as you let them. They're going to want to come back out in force. And that's going to create somewhat more of a demand for live local music. And so I think local music, they're projecting the 31 billion market by 2022. I think that the local one's going to follow suit. And so, hang in there. To my friends that are out of work right now, hang in there, man. Keep practicing, keep playing your instrument, and keep writing and creating music.
That's it. You know what? It's the COVID is going to pass. Gigs are going to come back. And the question is, everybody out there, are you going to be ready for it? Do you have a drum teacher? Are you prepared? Yeah. Do you have a drum teacher? Do you have are you inspired? Are you ready for all these gigs that are going to come your way?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, though, in addressing the seriousness of it, I know we're optimists, and I know there's a lot of people like, yeah, dude, well, you have an established teaching business, but I'm just trying to pay my bills. There's no shame in getting a day job. And don't be that tortured artist. It might not work out well for you. Nobody's going to criticize you for having a day job. And think about it. You might find something in that day job that sharpens your skills that you can apply to your music after COVID's over. So
I agree.
Go out and get it. Totally. Pay the bills, man. We need commerce. That's what's going to help get this going.
Dude, I'm an old man right now, man. The amount of day jobs, the amount and the multiple, just so many day jobs that I've held in the service industry and the auto industry. I've always had a job to fund the expedition. And you know what I mean? The goal ultimately was to go pro, and I was able to become a professional drummer. But the journey to that always had some type of day job, some type of gig to start paying the rent. So there's no shame in getting a job.
Right. That's right. That's right. I wasn't a full-time player until in my 40s.
There you go.
It was jobs all before that, and I was playing original music, not covers. And I'm just. There's so many paths that can work. Everybody just has to find their path. You talk about that a lot, Bart.
Bart, what's your outlook on the future of the music industry, Bart?
I think it's I agree with you guys. I think it's great. I mean, you've got um, COVID's COVID. Like Rick said, you've got the entire world. I mean, is going through this. It's not like the United States is going through it, or Florida is going through it, or New York is. I mean, the entire globe is going through this right now, and and hopefully we'll get a vaccine and it'll be over with. I'm a firm believer that people are resilient, and
Mhm.
COVID is a hiccup in life, and it sucks. And I'm not making light of it. A lot of people have died from it. Our neighbor across the street. 2 weeks ago, she passed away. It's horrible. It's heartbreaking.
Right.
Okay, I'm not making light of it, but it is something that we will get through. The music business as a whole, as far as uh, um, record labels and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that back in the day, back in the 80s and the 90s, everybody wanted to have the big, everybody wanted to be in Van Halen. Everybody wanted to be in the Rolling Stones, everybody wanted that. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in the Rolling Stones? The
Yeah.
biggest, care of your day is, are you going to wear socks that match the color of the stadium's biggest team? I mean, that's what Charlie Watts does, by the way. That's what a drum geek I am. Charlie Watts. I know that
Wow.
he checks out whatever the team is in the arena or a stadium they're playing, whatever their colors are, he wears those color socks and T-shirt on stage. True story.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Talk about drum geek. Anyway,
Man.
but those days, I think as far as those bands are few and far between. There's only one Rolling Stones. There's only one Bon Jovi. There's only one Van Halen, and those guys
Did
deserve
you just say
everything.
Rolling Stones and Bon Jovi in the same sentence?
I did. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
How old are you, Bart?
I know I'm old.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm old.
There's
Hey,
only one Beatles.
that's right. There's only one Greta Van Fleet. Hey, there didn't expect that one, did you?
Oh,
Oh
the
man.
left field with the curveball.
That's right, man. That's right. Anyway, I think though the music business as a whole, I think it's like it's anything else in life, right? If you want to, my father he was a carpenter, and he was a businessman, and he was an estimator, and he did construction. The guy could build anything and fix anything. He was an amazing guy. And he started, with a hammer and a tool belt and some nails, and he built an amazing life for himself as a contractor, right? I think, my hammer is right here. I think that whatever industry you're in, you figure out a way to do it. My dad
Yeah.
told me the quickest way to be successful at something is be the first one there and the last one to leave.
Oh.
And don't leave any stones unturned. I think the music industry is going to come back. I do agree. I think that once everything kind of opens up, I think there's going to be more gigs than you're going to have time for. You're going to have to be ready. There's going to be a ton of gigs. You're going to be working a lot. And
If you want to be, if you're
you
looking
want to be,
for it,
exactly. If you
you're-
want to work,
if you get your surfboard and get out there in the water,
that's right. You
you
got to be
can't
ready.
you can't sit at home and stay on the couch and pray for higher powers to intervene. If you're going to stay on the couch, you have to be willing to get out there.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I think also that I think what it's going to do, because everybody's like Rick and Chip, you guys both, and I've heard so many musicians that are in the same boat. A lot of musicians, Chip, I'm with you. Rick, I'm with you. I've got some friends of mine, my buddy Eric, an amazing guitar player, an amazing guitar teacher, sweetheart of a guy. And he was in a band that they worked all the time. He has a great teaching business, and man, he's really hurting right now, gig wise. I got some friends out in Las Vegas, same thing. They're hurting for gigs. They're hurting financially. They all got day jobs, right? Everybody's, or they're really pushing their lessons more, whatever it is. They're doing what they have to do to get through this hiccup, get through the COVID
Mhm.
thing. They're doing all the right things. But then I think when it comes back, you're going to hear musicians play like you haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
because people are at home practicing more.
Be careful, you're getting close to Team Stojak's Renaissance plan.
I am. Hey, look, man, these things are in my hands all the time. I've always kind of, I think we all have kind of held our musicianship up here, you know, and so we practice a lot to be the best that we can. Don't phone in the gig, get out there and play the best you can. But I think that now, because we don't have any gigs and we don't have any place to play and we don't have, you know, stuff going on, well, what do? You sit in a room and you shed. You know, I've been going through all kinds of great drum books right now. I've been practicing a lot, and I think I'm talking for myself because I know everybody else is doing the same thing. Once we get out there and start playing again, man, bands are going to be tighter. There's going to be more gigs. There's going to be more albums that come out. I do think because of the technology that has been bestowed upon us. Is that what Rick said?
We've been anointed.
We've been anointed. Sorry.
With technology, yes.
We've been anointed with the technology.
Think about that timing.
Hey,
I'm writing that down. I wrote that down.
It's Chip's gonna come out with an album named that. You watch. You know,
like it.
I've got my new Mac over here, and I'm getting great drum tones out of the studio. I'm recording stuff for people. I think there's going to be a huge resurgence. More records are going to come out, and I do agree, because there aren't any record labels out there saying, "Hey, look, you can't do this." I think, you know, because of the internet, because of YouTube, because of Spotify and streaming, and able to put your own music out, I think the creative side of things is going to be what it was back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, when bands were just like, God, I never saw that coming. You know, wow, listen to Jimi Hendrix. Where did that guy come from? You know, I think we're going to see a lot more of that because people are able to do it. They're able to.
Right on.
Yeah. So that's my opinion.
So come on, guys. Closing thoughts. Bart, sum it up. What's the future outlook of the music industry to you? And then we'll throw it around.
Well, I think the future, again, I think it's great. And I'll give you a little inside shameless self-plug. We talked about this before we started recording. One of the things that I'm doing, I've already recorded 5 videos for my website. They're going to be up hopefully this week.
BartRobley.com.
BartRobley.com. There's 5 videos, 5 lessons. And you could be able to go download them and put them on your computer and practice them. They're 99 cents each. Come on. 99 cents each.
99.
Go buy it. It's not even a buck.
That is a bargain for me.
Man.
That's a bargain for me.
Yeah.
I know.
Right on. Thanks, Bart.
Yeah,
So,
you bet.
Yep.
What about you,
I gotta say that I think I just want to sum it up with a quick story. I've got a student named Nathan who's got a drum set mic'd up in his house. He's got the home studio with the keyboards, and he's playing guitar, and he's singing, and he's drumming, and he's Lenny Kravitzing his way through an album right now, doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And he needs cymbals, right? So we're trying to get him to check out the cymbals, and I tried to send him down to Rainbow. And Rainbow is the local music store where I would recommend people to go check out the cymbals because they have the biggest selection. But they're not letting people in the store. They're only doing curbside service. So right now, it depends on our outlet. I can look at it like, well, he can't really check out cymbals. What a depressing time I'm living in. This really sucks. That sucks. This other thing over here sucks. I could focus on the fact that he's having trouble even testing out a cymbal and cannot buy one. Or I can focus on what Rick was saying, that this kid has been anointed with technology, is self-producing his own music with no label needed, with his own streams on Spotify, with his own ability to just by himself do the whole dream and eventually get gigs for his own band. So I'm going to choose to focus on that. I think the outlook of the music industry depends on our outlook.
Oh, that's right.
Very well said.
That's
how
very
about you?
well said, Chip. Well, you know, in high school, I studied I took a classical music history class, and it seemed that over the centuries, you know, of course, the music was very relevant to what was going on in the times. So dark times produced some more dark music, and then good times, you know, after those medieval times are over, you know, suddenly the music was all wild and crazy and fun. And so I believe we're headed for that. And we've been through it, especially as drummers. You know, the original drum set gigs, how the drum set was developed was during silent movies.
Yep.
You know, all the that's where the word traps came from. All the different contraptions that everybody played. You know, you had a horse running around. The trap player played a woodblock. So, well, silent movies ended. We started getting talkies. Suddenly, all of the drummers who had gigs in these theaters lost their jobs. All of them did. And we survived. We got through it. And then same thing happened, you know, with drum machines. In the 80s, so many drummers lost their gigs because of programming. The Lynn drum machine came out,
Yep.
and then the rolling machines, and drummers lost their gigs, but not the guys that learned to program the drum machines. They ended up getting more work. So we've been through this before, and we're all in it together, and we're going to get out of it again. And so that's my thought. So I'd say stay positive. I'm with Chip Ritter. It's your attitude.
I think so too. I like that.
Yeah.
And you know, you look at the drum machine in the 80s, look at Phil Collins, no jacket required. Half drums,
Yeah.
half drum machine. Phil Collins, one of the
Yeah.
greatest drummers. I think that
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and it's not that I want to get the last word in. I just want to sum up what you guys said in my thoughts. It just jumped into my head, and that is, you know, music is the most important gift I think that we've been given. And what I
Yeah.
mean by that, music is there all the time. Music is there when somebody gets married and they're celebrating. Music is there when, you know, a baby's born or there's a baby shower and they're celebrating. Music is there when somebody passes away and you're mourning a loved one. Music is there when you go into the grocery store and you've got your mask on and there's songs playing on the PA in the music store. It magically appears when you turn on the knob on the radio in your car. It's there all around us all the time. It's there through good times and bad times it lifts us up. You know, so music is extremely important. And if you have the gift of music in you, nurture it and love it, and it'll come back and it'll do great things for you. It'll do fantastic things for you. So that's my
Right on, Bart.
thing on what you guys
Bart,
said.
that's beautiful.
Cool. All right, guys. So we're out of here, right? We're done for today, and
Thanks,
we'll
everybody.
be back. We'll be back next week with Jeremy. Will be here, and our friend Neil LaFortune will be with us. We're going to be interviewing him, and that's going to be awesome. You guys have a great week, and we will see you next week here in the den.
Take care, everybody. Thanks.
Bye, guys.